Hey guys, Fist of Fury here. Just doing a little quick talk video. Nothing really special on this. I'm just saying, like, we're going to be talking about my reason why mercenary tanks kind of like suck in this game, and we're going to explain why and also the things they could benefit. But first, I'm going to get into a game match real quick and war stories, and then we'll just talk about basically the things that needs to be fixed in this. I'm going to skip the war story part. All right. All right. Everybody knows the mercenary tanks. It's just like this ain't anything new. I've already described my little pet peeves in my mercenary 4.5 update video. If you want to look at that, be my guest. I've talked about what it was kind of wrong with how to get them. It was kind of thing. It was stupid that you pay gold if you could skip it, or paying gold to get the tank. Now, the main thing I'm going to talk about is kind of like how useless these mercenary tanks are. And this is the thing that's a huge problem with people. It's like, usually people say like, oh, mercenary tanks are not useless, Fury. I'm not saying they're not, but the thing is though, I'm saying is they're not really. The best way to describe this is like, all right, imagine you have like a Soviet tank with a good officer crew. You have an entire race of tech tree, but the mercenaries do not. And the thing I don't like about mercenary tanks is just there's no progression towards the mercenaries. And people always ask me, like, why did I stop going after mercenary tanks? Because I used to been like one of those people that go after mercenary tanks. And the reason why I'm bringing this up too also is because they brought out another mercenary tank, the Skull Cap. They brought that back. Like, pretty much they brought out another goddamn medium. And I'm saying to wargaming is why. I get it, you want to make mercenary tanks because you can't think of any other realistic tanks. I get it, if you run out of ideas, might as well create your own. But the thing is that's pissing me off is like, well, what are you going to do when you get that tank? To get money and stuff? Fine. But they're the same money-making tanks. And what are you going to do with the officer once you get a good training officer? Just keep them in that one tank forever? And you see what I mean? Like, there's no benefit. Like, if you go to a German race and you get, like, the tanks and stuff like that, and basically train them to do, like, say, for example, you got a German crew with 10 perks, and you working on one line. Once that line's complete, then you can take that German crew and put them in something else. Yeah, you got to pay silver or pay gold, which I would not recommend doing because you could just freely train them up to 100%. It's just, to me, there's progression towards that thing. Mercenary officers don't do that, and mercenary tanks don't do that. And the thing I hate the most is like, all these mercenary tanks should be premium tanks. As much as I hate to say it, a lot of these mercenary tanks are useless in my opinion, because not only do they get like, you know, the same matchmaking like any other tank in the game, but they don't even get a money buff. So I'm going to quickly talk about what they could do to improve the money system. And this is a friend that wanted to know my opinion on how the mercenary tanks could work. Okay, number one, mercenary tanks should be allowed to train whatever race. Like, say for example, you got a Soviet officer can only train Soviet crews. You got a German officer that can only train German crews, like German tanks. Any French trains there. Mercenary tanks should be the only one race. Well, actually, it's not a race. It's obviously a group of, like, you know, higher people. Should be the only ones, like, for example, basically could go to any tank, any race. I mean, they're fucking mercenaries, for Christ's sake. A variety of different race. You would think they would be capable to go into any tank in the fucking game, making their value extremely high for a mercenary tank. Because imagine if you got like a really good mercenary crew and you got one officer in one race that really sucks, like for me, like the Czechoslovakians, because I have a hard time grinding them. It would be ideal to have them go to any tank you want in the game, because that way you can actually get one good officer when you're trying to get the race done. And that would have been a huge improvement over the officer. Okay, but the other thing too, number two, increase the money earnings on these mercenary, these drivers or any of the tanks. These are, in fact, rare tanks wargaming. Like, you're supposed to earn them and hard earn them and get them. Why can't they make a lot of fucking money? Like, for example, like, the premium tanks do. But you would think if it's a mercenary tank that can't go to any race without no progression anywhere, you would think, like, a tank like this would earn, like, 2 times or 3 times more than a standard premium tank. Because the only thing you can have with it is fun and stuff and all that jazz. Be my guest with it. But the thing is, though, at the end of the day, you would kind of wish they had something more better than the standard race tanks. Now, I get it. Now, most people are going to say, well, that's what's going to break the game. If they get more money, nobody will want premium tanks no more. They just want the next mercenary tanks. But if you're going to do this wargaming and keep constantly bringing out, like, what do we got? Like, 7 of the mercenary premium tanks and plus now 8 to this new one that only a few people are buying and not a lot. I'm just saying it's just out today. I don't know if people are going to go out and actually spend all that money. It's going to be like $38 when the final thing comes out. But my point is, like, what's the whole point once you get it? Just to have a mercenary tier 7 medium premium tank? Like, now everybody could say, well, what's the point in earning any premium tanks? Well, again, like I said, they make the most money, but they train the crew to whatever race you need to have a good officer so you can progress towards whatever tier 10 you want. Like I said, mercenaries don't have that. And to me, that's a huge problem. And to me, there's no progression, which is another thing too. There is no progression in the mercenaries. There should be a progression thing. Like, have some of these mercenary tanks able to grind XP to go for the next tank or something like that. Say, like, example, you earn a tier, like, there's arrows pointing at different tanks. Like, say if you got the Caboose, the tier 3 mercenary tank, and I'm going to die. Like the tier 3 mercenary tank, and literally when you have the Caboose, you can grind up to the Thresher. Like, you earn this much in XP, you can get the Thresher doing it that way. That way you're showing progression. That way the mercenary tanks would be worth it when you're progressing and stuff. There's no progression in this. There's no, like, the only thing that's value is these premium tanks to make money, but you could make it on any other race and still have value of training an officer. Now, I know I'm saying this beating in the head, but that's the thing I think of mercenary tanks. And it's sad because wargaming is so heavily trying to rely on these tanks, trying to be different than the wargaming, but really they're just nothings. They really are just nothings. And it's just sad to think of it that way. But that's my reason of, like, it should be fixed like that. Now, I don't know why I lost money when I was just loading normal armor piercing, but okay. I'm just going to let that go. But you see what I mean? Like, if it had money boost thing, it would have been a terrific thing. Now, I know that's it for the video I was going to say about the mercenary tank, because somebody wanted my opinion on here, and I just thought it would be nice to share some light of what these mercenary tanks could have been and should have been great, but isn't. Alright, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you comrades in the next video shortly. Bye, guys.